Although January marks the beginning of the calendar year, for me, early spring has always felt like the unofficial start of the new year. The natural world around us is buzzing with the energy of new beginnings, and I've been feeling so inspired to bring that same sense of renewal into my home and everyday life. Spring cleaning is an activity I look forward to every year because it offers an opportunity to start fresh and consider what I want to carry forward into the coming months and think about what I want to leave behind. This year, I want to refresh my home in a way that inspires me to be the best, most creative version of myself. I truly believe that even small changes in our physical space can make a positive impact on our lives. So this week, I want to deep clean and organize around the cottage and do a bit of decorating and crafting to bring some color and happy, positive energy into my space. My goal is to create a few different areas throughout my home that make me feel excited and inspired to be creative and do the things I love. Whenever I'm spring cleaning, I like to get started in the kitchen because it's usually the messiest room in my house, so I like to get it done first before I go and clean the rest of my home. And before I get started, I'm going to make a really simple household cleaner with some white vinegar, distilled water, and essential oils. Now that I'm all done cleaning the cottage, it's time to start decorating. Around this time of year, I want my space to feel fresh and bright and still very cozy, but a different kind of cozy than the fall and winter. I've been on a budget lately, and so I've been trying to think of some creative, low-cost ideas to decorate my space. As someone who absolutely loves home decor, I have to admit that it's been a bit difficult lately to see beautifully decorated rooms on social media, while knowing that I can't afford to make my house look that way or anywhere close at this time in my life. But one thing that has really helped me feel better and change my perspective is shifting my focus to taking care of my space as it is instead of redesigning it with new items and decorating it with the things that I really love that I already have or pieces that I can DIY myself. So this spring, I wanted to make a hanging dried flower garland to decorate my living room. I've been wanting to make something like this for a long time, and I had some extra flowers on hand from a client photo shoot, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to make it. To be honest, I'm not sure how all of these flowers will dry, and there's a chance I may have to go back and replace some of them if they don't dry well, but since they would have gone to waste anyway if I didn't use them, that is completely fine with me. As someone who has struggled with perfectionism throughout my life, something that has been helping me lately is allowing myself to just experiment with new ideas and try different things, even if there's a chance they won't work out. Creativity is so often about embracing imperfection, and that's something I've been keeping in mind as I'm decorating my home this spring. I usually spend a lot of time reading and journaling here in the living room, and I love the way this flower garland makes it feel so whimsical and inviting. Now, all I want to do is cozy up and read and write here whenever I can. Good morning, friends. Oh my goodness, the simmer pot smells so wonderful. It's just filling the house with the scent of lemon and lavender and rose. It's just such a wonderful fresh scent for spring. If you've been around here for a while, you probably know how much I love simmer pots, and every year I like to do a spring simmer pot as a tradition to welcome in the spring season. And I usually will make the recipe with fresh flowers, but I didn't have any extra on hand, so I made this one with dried flowers and it turned out just as good. So if all you have on hand are dried flowers, I highly recommend making yourself a nice simmer pot to fill your house with the scent of spring. So I have my simmer pot going on the stove, I have my new spring paintings on the wall behind me, and I love how much they're brightening up the space. Even on a really gloomy, rainy day like today, they just look so happy and springy. And right beside me on the wall, I have my dried flower garland, and I love how it looks. I think it's drying so well. I don't know if this is just my imagination or if there's some sort of science behind this, but I noticed that every time I hang flowers upside down to dry, they dry so much better and they retain so much more of their original color. So I really think that this method is working super well for the garland. One thing I wanted to mention as well is we have a dehumidifier in this room because our downstairs gets super humid. I think it's just part of living in a 200-year-old home. We also don't have a fan in our bathroom, so every time we shower it gets really humid in here, so we like to keep our dehumidifier on. And I don't know if that's why they're drying so quickly, but I think that it's working and they're looking really nice. So I like to look at spring cleaning as both a physical and mental reset, and I like to start by focusing on my physical space, cleaning the house, decluttering, and then sitting down with my journal to do a bit of a mental reset. So I'm going to grab my journal and list out all of the things that have been bothering me, anything that's on my mind, just getting everything out of my mind and onto the page so I can start fresh. When I'm journaling as part of my spring cleaning ritual, I like to begin by asking myself, what do I want to bring forward and leave behind throughout the rest of the year? And then I make a list of whatever comes to mind. This is so helpful in showing me where I should direct my energy over the next few months. Another journaling prompt I really enjoy for spring cleaning is to think about the people in my life, the habits I have, and even the books and media I consume, and ask myself, does this activity or person or content support my ideal self? I've noticed that over time, if I'm not making a conscious effort to pay attention, I can sometimes allow some anxiety and negativity into my days from external sources without even realizing it. I think social media is such an important area to consider this because we can't control a lot of interactions in our daily lives, but we can control, at least to some extent, our digital environment and spend our time online engaging with content and people who support our mental health. One thing I like to do every few months is scroll through the accounts that I'm following, and as I go down the list, I just ask myself how I feel after interacting with this online presence and allowing that to determine how often I want to consume it. Whenever I do journaling sessions like these, I feel so much more refreshed and clear on what I want to focus on for the next few months. It's evening now and I've just sat down to relax and crochet for a little bit, and I wanted to share an update on my crochet progress with you. So I mentioned a couple of videos ago that I really wanted to learn how to crochet so that I could make these colorful crochet coasters by Cheyenne Barton. She made the pattern for these and she used really pretty colors, and I was so inspired after watching that video that I was determined to teach myself how to crochet. So I tried probably probably 10 times to make the coasters, and I couldn't get anywhere. I just was so confused because it was the first crochet project I had ever done. So I decided to rewind a little bit and try to find an easier tutorial. And I found a really simple granny square tutorial, and I tried it, and I was able to make my first granny square within like a few hours of practicing. And this is it. It's such a cute, happy little yellow granny square, and I definitely made mistakes on it. I can see that there were a few stitches that I messed up, but I'm still really happy with it and really proud of it. Making this granny square helped me learn and practice some of the foundational stitches that I could then apply to other projects. So I did this the first night, and then the second night I decided to attempt the coasters again, and I made it! I made my first crochet coaster, and it is definitely far from perfect. I can already see like there are a lot of stitches that I did wrong. There are holes in it that I don't know like how to fix, but that's okay. I'm completely okay with it being imperfect because I'm going to keep trying and making them over again. And I still think that all things considered, it's super cute. And I do think that if you learn the very foundational crochet stitches like single crochet and double crochet, you will be able to make this coaster. So if you're interested in either of the tutorials, I will link them below. But that is my crochet progress, and I also wanted to share, I know this is so silly, but I needed a place to store my yarn, and I had this extra basket, and I thought it would be such a cute place to put my yarn, and I love it. It makes me so happy every time I store my yarn in it. So my friends, I hope that this video has inspired you to take steps toward creating a place that supports your ideal self and your most creative self. And I completely understand that so many of us don't have control over our living environment, and that can be so difficult. I've had many points throughout my life in childhood and in early adulthood where I felt like I had no control over my space, and it was so hard on my mental health. But something I've talked about before, I think it was in my art desk makeover video, is that even if you can create a really small space, if it's just a windowsill or a bookshelf or like part of your bedside table or something like that, if you can just dedicate a really small space to fill with things that bring you comfort and inspiration, that can be a really great way to gain a little bit more of a sense of control over your space and create a more positive environment for yourself. So I've done that several times throughout my life when I've been in difficult living environments, and it really helped me. So I hope that it helps you too if you're going through something similar. One of the things I love about spring cleaning is it always helps me practice gratitude for my home. No home is going to be 100% perfect. There are always going to be little things we wish we could change or improve. At least for me, I always like to have a new project to work on. But right now I'm just feeling so grateful for my home and to get to live in a space that I can fill with things that bring me joy and inspiration. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for letting me share my home with you, and I will see you all very soon. Good night, friends.